Like it got around 500k views, but that was like gradually, so it's not like immediately like one day it's got 500k. No, it's kind of like after 1 or 2 months it got 500k, and that was really good. And then the second and the third video that got viral kind of like 3-4 months ago, and it got like the 1.5 million views. Yeah, that video, there are like 2 videos that went viral like a lot, even like in Brazil, everywhere. It's crazy.
What's my podcast called? I forgot it again. Okay to be lost.
It's okay to be lost. Un momento, chicos.
It's okay to be lost. So you tuned into the first episode, which had terrible video quality. Now we've upgraded to beautiful, stunning 4K, so you can see today's guest, Sonny, in all his beauty here. Welcome to the Okay to be Lost. I forgot my own podcast. Welcome to the Okay to be Lost podcast, a podcast that spontaneously happened while staying here in this hostel in Bali in Indonesia, and I met my friend Sonny, who is also on YouTube, and you saw from the last video if you watched it. And Sonny is a super interesting guy who I've really enjoyed talking to, and I just thought it would be worth putting a camera on our conversation. You're really interesting to me because you're carving out your future. I mean, we all are carving out our future, but you're literally taking something and turning it into a ticket to the world. I think it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I like that word, ticket to the world. Yeah.
You are, I think you are.
Yeah.
So just in case you don't know or you didn't pick up from the last one, talk about what you're up to.
So basically I'm a language YouTuber. So I've learned languages in the pandemic. So like 3 years ago, I picked up my Spanish. At that time it's because I watched La Casa de Papel, like the Netflix series, how is it? Money Heist. Yeah. The Money Heist. And I watched it, and then at some point when I watched it, I kind of like, damn, it must be cool if I can speak Spanish. And then I've learned it.
This
just
is
like it.
2020.
2020. It was around like 10-11 months. I could already like speak it. Let's say like having a conversation, basic like a daily stuff with it. And then I've listened to Italian. If you know Monica Bellucci, one of the like actress, she's like goddess. And I've listened to Italian, and I thought like it would be cool if I can speak Italian. I pick up my Italian. It's kind of like 6 months. And then I've learned French. I've learned French because like everyone thought French is a beautiful language, elegant, everything. I learned it about 4 months, and then I went to Portuguese, and it took me like way more shorter, kind of like 1 or 2 months. Yes, if you know, maybe like it's because like the Latin language, so there are a lot of similarities. Okay. I only need to learn like new vocabulary, a little bit of grammars, and maybe like pronunciation. So yeah, and then I went to learn German. I can speak it, but not so good. I can understand more or less. But yeah, and right now I'm learning. It's like Turkish, and I'm trying to learn like Romanian too, because it's like one of the Latin language that I miss is just like Romanian.
And now you have a YouTube channel where you you talk to random people on the internet.
Exactly.
And you kind of speak in their native tongue to them, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
Because you're from Indonesia, they expect you to not know.
Because in Indonesia, it's not that really popular to speak. I say like Spanish, Portuguese. It's not popular. Even Italian. I think the most common you can find closest, I would say like French, because a lot of people love French. Yeah. I mean the language and the country, everything. So yeah, maybe French is pretty common, but it's still like, it's good if you can. I mean, it's really shocking, kind of like that.
But you started your language journey pre-pandemic or during the pandemic.
During the pandemic.
And you've basically crafted your life today as a result of that. Basically,
it was just because of bored. I was just fucking bored because of the pandemic, because my parents were like, how to say it, paranoid of the COVID and all of that stuff. so they didn't let me go out from the.
So you're living at home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see my friend, I couldn't meet my friends, so I just like, fuck, what do I do? And then I just listened to his Spanish and just like, I've learned it. I will learn that shit. Because I want that still.
For some context here, Sonny has built a YouTube following and a TikTok following and an Instagram following, upwards of 100,000 people since then. And his videos just bring so much joy when you watch them, because you talk to all sorts of different people, you surprise them, you tell jokes, you kind of play pranks on people where you pretend like you can't speak their language at all, and then all of a sudden you speak it perfectly. And this whole world has come about because of the pandemic and because you started to do. Was any of it planned, or did you ever think when you started to learn from watching that show, did you ever just think like, here's the master plan, I'm gonna make a YouTube? How did that come about?
It was just like, it was the pandemic, I was bored, and then at first, I'm not going to lie, at first I just wanted to like
talk to girls.
No, it's kind of like I have something to brag on. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh shit, you don't know how to speak Spanish? I know how to speak Spanish. Yeah, something like brag with my friends. Like, look at this. I like the day I went out from the pandemic. It's like, look, I speak Spanish, and something like that. I wanted to do that kind of bragging with my friends.
Like showing off a little bit.
Showing
I know
off,
something you don't know.
Yeah, I'm showing something you don't know. But then it's kind of like, and then at the moment, I was like, kind of want to, like, recording my progress at that moment too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I already knew there was like a website where you can meet people like online randomly. I already knew that, but I never used it. So at that moment, I use it so I can meet another people from another part of the world, and then just from that I record everything, and then just like, just capturing their reactions.
But mostly initially to practice, right?
Yeah, to practice and just show my progress, something like that.
Wow. Okay, so it was kind of more of just like a self-reflection and testing yourself and being able to relive kind of the conversations and figure out.
Kind of like I want to see, like after 1 or 2 years, I want to see like seeing back at then, like my old videos, kind of like, how did I speak it at that moment? And I'm kind of like comparing it. Like right now, it's kind of like, okay, it's getting better. That's good.
But at what point did you then decide, hey, like maybe I'll put these online?
It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, that moment where you're like, you just want to do it. You just want to do it. You don't know why. You just want.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like this kind of cool to put it online.
Okay, so you saw that it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like interesting, like the encounters and everything is funny, and just like put it. It's like, oh, it's interesting. So I just put it online, just like that. And then some of the videos went viral. Some of those are done. So the thing is, I've learned this a lot. Like your first video, or maybe like 10 videos, the first 10 videos, or maybe 100, it would be shit. It would be shit. My first video, it was like, fuck, it's like,
you mean in terms of viewership?
Yeah, like editing, like everything, the audio, everything is like, god damn, it's really bad, really bad. So, and then like, I got my, let's say like my first viral video after like 4 or 5 months. And that's
after how many videos roughly?
I mean, that was in TikTok. I think in that moment after like 30, 40 videos, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the reaction was like really, really good.
So if it was like 6 months then, you probably weren't uploading a lot. Mm-hmm. If that's only 30 videos in 6 months, that's not somebody that's like, I'm going to do this every day, and you were doing it pretty casually at that point.
Yeah, I'm doing it pretty casually. I'm just editing it just for fun, put it on YouTube. In YouTube, the first video I got viral was kind of like, I would say like at the beginning of this year. So it took me like a year to get viral.
But what were we talking about viral? Like what numbers?
It got around 500K views. But that was like gradually. So it's not like immediately like one day it's got 500K. No, it's kind of like after 1 or 2 months it got 500K, and that was really good. And then the second and the third video that got viral is kind of like 3-4 months ago, and it got like the 1.5 million views.
Yeah.
That video, there are like 2 videos that went viral like a lot, even like in Brazil, everywhere. It's crazy. It was crazy.
And what were those videos? What was the
So basically,
those videos?
the video is like pretty funny because like I was talking with a Portuguese girl, and then I started to speak in Portuguese, but she said to me, yeah, like your accent is weird, because like the Portugal and Brazil, they have like really different accent. And I said like, yeah, of course, because I've learned the real Portuguese. And then the woman just really like changed. It's just like from the people from USA said like, yeah, I've learned the real English, not the UK one. It's kind of like that.
Right.
And then it got attention of like the Brazilians a lot. Even there was like let's say like a news company in Brazil. It's called O Globo. It is like one of the biggest news in Brazil. Like I would say like everyone in Brazil know that shit, know Globo. So I got in Globo. It's weird because I got in Globo, the newspaper, let's say in Brazil, but I never got into the newspaper in my own country.
No way.
Yes.
You mean in the paper or on the TV?
On online.
Oh yeah.
Online. Yeah.
Online.
No, not like newspaper.
I know what you mean. Okay, so like an online news.
Yeah,
source.
online news. Online news.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a newspaper or I don't know, but I knew it that my face was like in their online news.
So you made it on mainstream media in Brazil.
Yeah, in Brazil, but not in my own country. It's weird.
And just to clarify, you're from Indonesia, right?
I'm from Indonesia.
A small town, or?
It's like Surabaya. It's like the second biggest town in this country.
Oh, okay, so not a small town.
It's not a small town. It's quite big actually. So yeah.
That's really fascinating. And at what point were you like, this can actually maybe be a job for me? Like, I'm gonna go all in on this. I really want to just keep doing this.
I would say like last year, like the beginning of last year, so 2022, at the beginning of last year, I've told my dad like immediately like, Dad, I think this would work and I want to focus on this. Because, like in that moment where like I could understand, I could speak, I could maintain a conversation in various languages, which like not many people can do that. So I would say like, this might be work. And I love it, like speaking in another languages, like I really love it actually. Like right now, I can speak Spanish a lot better than my English.
Really?
Really. English.
That's amazing.
English, sometimes I can speak it, but maybe you can hear like my accent's not kind of like that, not
That's
really
good,
that.
man.
But Spanish, I love it. I really prefer speaking in Spanish, actually.
Right, okay.
So it's kind of like...
But you grew up with English as well?
No, it's kind of like because like we got, let's say like the Hollywood movies.
Right. So you knew that was a second language that you kind of knew before you did those.
Exactly. Because like the video games, like we don't have like our video games don't have like Indonesian language. So we have to...
If you want to play a video game,
we have to play it in English.
Right.
Yes or yes. So there's no other options.
Right.
So basically at that moment, like the early 2022, I was like, I think this might be work because I know various languages. I just need to certificate it. But yeah, until right now, I haven't certificated nothing. But after Bali next week, I'm going to try to look some certification out of it.
But so you said you had to. You told your father that you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Why did you need to tell your father? Why was that a factor?
It was because, like in the Asian culture, because my father has a company, the lubricants company for the cars and machines.
Yeah.
And like in the Asian culture, like your father really wants and expect you to continue their business. If you don't, in my case, my father feels like he's a failure. So
Right.
because yeah, so in an Asian culture, if your parents have a company, like their son must must to continue it.
You don't have any other siblings?
I have a brother, a
Okay.
big brother, but between my brother and my father, they don't get along well.
Right. So,
So
you,
my father is kind of like expecting me, and then I come out like, I don't want to continue it. I want to look for my own.
did you, prior to getting involved in this, did you just think that that was what you were going to do, and were you keen to do that before finding this whole thing that you're involved in?
Actually, yeah, because at that moment before like languages, I was like lost. Like the name of the podcast, I was like lost. I was like, maybe this would be my life, and maybe I just need to accept it, you know? And like maybe this is how
Wow.
I will live my life. Maybe just working 8 to 5 in a company, but it's better because it's like my father's company, so it's not really that bad. And then, but I always wanted to like live in another country, in another part of the world, but I didn't know how.
Right.
Like literally, I was like, fuck, I really want like, I don't know, few years in Europe, fewer years in America. That would be fun. But at the moment, I didn't know any shit.
how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, because I was studying law. And if you're like studying law, the law in every country is different. You
Yeah.
cannot go like working online with it. It's impossible. And at that moment also like, what should I do? I didn't have any choice. So it's kind of like, maybe, yeah, with my father's business, maybe like this would be my life. At this moment I was thinking like that, but after with the languages, and I saw like the reactions, I saw like many people's comments, and I was like, this is going good. I think this would work. And I was like, why not? Because it's kind of like, it's also like when I'm, let's say like deciding that, it's also because, let's say like my father already has his own money. So he doesn't need the pension money and everything. He doesn't need his children to maintain him. He already
Right.
has it.
Yeah.
Because he works like 30 years and he never even went out Asia. We only went to China, and I think that was like the biggest money that he ever spent from 30 years.
Wow.
The maximum that usually we went like to Bali or maybe Malaysia. We never even went to Singapore.
Okay.
So
Which is next door.
yeah, which is next door. So it's kind of like the money that we spend, like my father spent, it's not a lot. He always save it. That's a good thing with him. He always save it. And that's like what I've learned from him, and it's really good. It's like he always saved his money, so right now he's really safe,
Yeah.
let's say, if he doesn't get sick. And now I hope he doesn't get sick, because if you get sick, yeah, man,
Right.
that would be like a ton of money. Your money is going to just like that.
So are you saying that like you don't need to sustain him
Exactly.
at this point? He's good, so it's only he just wants you to continue the legacy.
Yeah.
So you're starting to think maybe that if I don't need to help support him, then maybe it gives me room to do
Exactly.
what I want to do.
Because if, like, I think about, I don't know in another Southeast Asian or maybe Asian country, but in Indonesia, it's kind of like, we have kind of like, it's called like sandwich generation. So like, you have to maintain your parents, and if you have a child, you have to maintain your child. So your
right, so
money
you're kinda
goes
like
like up
stuck in
and
the
down.
middle, eh?
You're stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in that moment. A lot of people right now is like they have to maintain their parents, because their parents, like in Indonesia we don't have a pension.
Yeah.
I think in UK if you work like 40 years, 30 years, when you're like,
a lot of these countries, if you're with an employer,
you
get
will
a pension.
you will get like
But you don't
each
get any
month
state and nothing from the state and the government.
nothing.
No, okay.
Maybe if you work with government,
Right.
you will get something.
But it's not just like a natural thing. If you're
No.
a citizen of the country, you don't just get a
Yeah.
paycheck.
Exactly. And even if you work like for the government, or maybe like 30, 40 years, and then they will give you like in one go.
Right.
Then let's say like 10,000 US.
Okay.
more or less, or maybe more. I think it depends, but I would say like around 10,000 US dollar, and that's in Indonesia. Like you work like 30 years, and then at the end of the day, you got like 10,000 US dollars. With the inflation, everything, it doesn't. It's not enough. It's not enough. So a lot of Indonesians right now, like they have to maintain their parents. So right now Indonesia also like kind of like they have a problem with the marriage because it's expensive. You have to maintain your parents, and you will have to maintain your kids, and that's expensive. So right
and
now,
your relationship as well, your marriage.
your marriage, your family. So
Very stressful.
very stressful. So that's why like, but like gladly my dad is like, he already has his own money.
Yeah.
He doesn't need money at this moment, at this point. So that's why like I brave enough to took that decision, because I would say like that's my safety net. So I kind of like took my decision based on my safety net. Okay, let's say like the YouTube didn't work, I still have home, right? In my country, in Surabaya, in my city. So I'm not really like gambling everything.
Yeah.
I still have something to go back on at the end of the day.
But it's still a big step for you because of the pressures and everything like that. It's that's interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people feel pressure from their parents in various different ways, whether it's taking on the business or whether it's getting a degree and being a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is. You know, that's pretty common. But it's interesting how there are still cultural differences, like honor and all that sort of thing in different places. But what I think is really interesting about your story is that you were kind of interested in travel or wanted to travel, but you had no idea how you were going to get there. And just through being bored and kind of curious and just deciding to take a few steps to make videos and post them, just because you were tinkering, you know, finding things, that is now starting to unlock a lot of opportunities for you, to the point where now you can kind of start to think about sustaining yourself online through these platforms that you've built. And I think that's just like one of the coolest things about technology and social media, like in a world where we're always seeing the dark side of it, right? Even myself, I look at a lot of social media generally as being pretty detrimental to your health, but it's really cool to meet somebody that has used these platforms to reach an audience even in Brazil,
even in Brazil,
across the planet, to share your personality and the things that you've come to love. And not only have you grown and learned and you've found yourself a potential like career path as well, but it's allowing you to meet new people, and just from like one start of I mean, obviously there's a lot of work that's gone into it since, but and I think that's where I think the podcast and the name of this podcast is quite relevant, because it's kind of okay to be lost, because if you were able to be manipulated into thinking, okay, well, I have to take this route, this is going to be my future or whatever, and there's no other alternatives, then you would have never found any of these things. But because you kind of were unsure and probably somewhat maybe lost, like, fuck, I really don't want to take on my dad's business, but I also don't have anything else to fall back or to do, or to... You were kind of a little bit lost, and through that you started experimenting with things that you were enjoying, paired with the fact that you didn't have a whole bunch to do during the pandemic. I think it's okay to be lost, because you find these things, you know?
It's like, I mean, it's really okay to be lost. I mean, I think like you need to be lost, right? I mean, it's at some point you need to be lost, and really it doesn't really matter. I mean, life is not a race, I guess. Like some people find their own way, their own self, like in the 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe like 60s.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I mean, that's just life. I mean, some people get lucky. Like I would consider myself like I got lucky. Like I found it in my mid-20. Let's say like, yeah, in the mid-20. And yeah, I mean, it's really okay. I mean, you need to be lost to be able to found.
I think, but when you say you find it, sometimes you find it in your 50s or whatever. But I also think that people do a very good job at covering it up in many ways. And I think a lot of people do find it in their like 50s or 60s or even 70s when they kind of get to the point where they're either fed up with their job or retired or whatever. They go through this moment of crisis. So you have like midlife crisis, quarter life crisis, all these different things, you know, and it's called a crisis. But I think it's a moment of realization that like, fuck, I'm pretty lost. Like I just spent 20 years of my life doing one career path and now I'm not happy. And why? And I should be feeling fine because I have a house, I have a kid, like family, I have all these things, I have the car, but I feel pretty lost. And I think it's way more common than we let it kind of lead on to. But with that comes all these different amazing, if you can kind of embrace it and not make that seem negative, like a lot of cool things come as a result of it. Sometimes you can't even do anything about it. Like sometimes you just have to go with the flow and just be like, recognize, I feel like shit. I don't know why. Maybe I take a break. Maybe like fall into some of the things that you really want to do. I want to go travel. I want to go leave. I want to go step outside and take a break. COVID forced everybody to take a break and stop. You know,
exactly.
And tinker and think, and that's hence the reason a lot of people don't want to go back to their previous jobs. You have people traveling around here because they were like, and I can work on my computer. I always wanted to travel and stuff.
And
but
I think,
go ahead.
And I think also like, kind of like when people like get lost, and then let's say like they find a job and they get a good job, pay a good money, everything is good, and then I don't know if this would be real relevant or maybe right to say, but it's kind of like a trap in some way because you got everything, like you got the money, okay, you get the money, but not the happiness. I mean, my dad, he gets the money, and he has money, like I would say like enough for him and my mom. Okay, it's enough, really enough. But at the end of the day, he worked his ass off for 30 years. He built, let's say like his empire with the lubricants and everything. He almost like had let's say like a fight with people when he tried to build his, let's say like his factory. Like a lot of people tried to steal and everything from him, some of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, he succeeds. He gets the money and everything. But because he worked his ass off every single day, now when he's like, he's about to turn, he's 60. When he wants to travel, the world's already changed. He was too focused on it, 30 years in his company, building it, making good everything, maintain the clients, everything. But he forgot the outside world. He doesn't even know how to check in with email. He doesn't even know how to buy a ticket online. When his phone's got something in English, he already like, what is this? What should I do? If I click it, like, is my bank account will get robbed? So it's kind of like, I would say like, he didn't do the balance. So he worked so much, but he didn't spend it. Okay, maybe like, you know, like if you work and you get the money, some people like want to keep it. Let's save it. Maybe like someday, if I need it, I can use it. My dad, I see that my dad's kind of that type. He saved it. He didn't spend it. But it's like, when you spend it a lot, I mean, when you save it a lot and you didn't spend it, it's kind of like, then what's the point you you work your ass off like years and you didn't spend and you save it. And in your 60, what can you do with that a lot of money?
Yeah.
You get tired easily. You cannot eat a lot of food. You cannot
Is there a chance though that he did it not for the money? And he did it because he enjoyed making a business and all that sort of stuff?
Probably.
Because if that's the case, then it's a bit of a different story sometimes, right?
But sometimes he complained a lot about it. Like, I want to retire. I want to retire. He already said that like 10 years ago when I was like in the high school. I want to retire. I want to retire. I'm already tired and everything. He already said that a lot.
And he could have, maybe?
Yeah, but it's kind of like, if I retired now, then how can we earn money? Something like that. So it's
kind of like a spiral.
It's kind of like spiral. He wanted to stop, but he cannot.
Right.
Yeah, because like that's only his, let's say like his money maker. Only that. He doesn't have any other passive income.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like. So that's like a thing. Like, let's say like.
But your goals are different. You saw that, and I guess you probably were like.
Yeah, I will like. I've seen my dad. He gets the money. He's not happy. So basically, money doesn't equal happiness. But it doesn't mean money is not important.
Yeah.
It is important.
Yeah.
It can be your happiness, but it's not totally your happiness.
Of course, yeah.
You need to spend it in order to get some.
What's the point in having it all?
Exactly.
I've known people that have not people that have been pretty close to me, that have worked their whole life and saved and wouldn't go on holiday because they got to save, and properties outright, this, that, and the other, and then they died.
Yeah, right.
And then it's like all that money sat in a bank account for what?
For
you know?
Exactly.
What's the point? And I think that those are the people are different, right? But I agree with you. I think that money doesn't equal happiness always. If you can figure out a way to strategically use money in a way that will provide happiness,
exactly,
then that's good.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people think those things are a car, clothes, brand name stuff, and for sure they bring elements of happiness to you when you go and buy them or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I think even our generation is really understanding that experiences are worth way more than things.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think like most of the times people always ask like, can money bought happiness? Can money bring you happiness? But I think the question is kind of like pretty bit like false, like wrong. I would say like, it's not about can money buy you happiness, but it's about how much money do you need to get your happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, if your happiness, let's say like you're a shopaholic, then it's, of course you need a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you like travel all over the world, okay, you need a lot of money. Then go work your ass off to get that.
But not always though.
Yeah.
There are other ways of doing it, like alternative ways of doing it.
There's always.
I mean, traveling the world is different because whilst you're traveling, you can figure out ways to earn money.
Exactly.
But you're right. If you're like into buying stuff at retail, you got to top that up somehow.
But if your happiness kind of like this, sitting, talking with people, maybe just a glass of beer, a bottle of beer, kind of like, I don't know, $5, and you're already happy. Why are you looking like, or really, why do you want to build an empire of it? Why do you want to spend a lot of time building an empire, looking for 6 digits of money, while your happiness is only just talking with people?
I think it doesn't get talked about enough, especially even in this like traveling sphere or when you see it on social media. Like right now, I'm being absolutely bombarded with Instagram ads about how you can travel the world and achieve all of your dreams and have everything you ever wanted and make 10K a week dollars by sipping Mai Tais by the beach and doing nothing. And all of this like stuff, how you can be doing it too. And it's just bullshit. A lot of this stuff is like pyramid schemes, but it entices young people and people that might want to travel into thinking, I need to create a sales funnel and I need to do all these business marketing courses that this 21-year-old's trying to sell me on when they haven't even ran their own business, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's actually negatively affecting a lot of young people because they're seeing these ads and they're like, all these young people are traveling the world and making like 10K a week and achieving all of their goals, and I'm not, and I'm here working at a convenience store in my hometown. Like, what's wrong with me? And I think that that's like a fake reality. It involves they're tapping on all of people's desires, including unlimited money. And what I kind of want to show people is that you of course need to earn some money, but if you can do it in a strategic way, you can earn and save a bit of money or work remotely. And you're not making 10 grand a week or whatever, but you can make enough to come to cheaper places, stay at hostels, go to different like parts of the world that you're not going to be staying at the Ritz-Carlton, but you can have these experiences. It just requires a certain level of sacrifice, you know?
Exactly.
Do you want a big flat screen TV and a year's subscription to Netflix? Or do you want to buy a plane ticket and come and drink beer, like $2 beers with new friends?
Yeah.
You know, compromises. And obviously not everyone has that option, right? Because pay scales in different areas are different.
Exactly. And also like the thing about the how much money do you need to get your happiness, kind of like, okay, like with the financial freedom is good, but it's also like the thing is like you need to set your limit. Like, how much money do you want to save per month that you think for you that's enough? Because if you don't have that limit, you don't know how much money do you need. You will always need more. It's okay. I mean, it's good. Everyone will be okay, will be agreed to earn more. But it's kind of like if you have that limit. Okay, I want to have like, I can save around like $2K per month. That's good for me. With that 2K per month, I can maybe like use my money for travel, for anything that you like, blah, blah, blah. That's good. But it's kind of like if you don't know your limits, kind of like, okay, 2K, it's too
You're
low.
always going to need more.
You're always going to need more.
You need more,
It's not going to end. It's just keep rolling. It's just snowballing. It's not going to end. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like when you get like a 10K, you can save around 10K per month. It's kind of like you will always need more. It's kind of.
How do your peers, the people that you grew up with, and what's their mindset on on like life and everyday life, and how do they look upon what you're doing?
It's kind of like my friends at my age right now. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is good or maybe just like they already get used to it. It's kind of like they starting to, let's say, like lower their level of happiness. Maybe they cannot find their dreams, so they can, at least I can find a good job.
Right.
Okay.
Are you saying they're starting to like kind of accept?
It's kind of like exception. It's kind of like maybe I cannot go to, I don't know, USA, okay, but I can go to Bali. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. So they kind of like lower their expectation of life. So they're just trying to get happy with what they have. It can be good at some point. It can be good, but I don't know if that's a good thing for the long term. Because kind of like you're trying to push your happiness, like make it a little lower, make it lower. It's kind of like you don't have to dream big, right? And a lot of people like say like dream big, but at the end of the day, like you don't have to. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. You can tell me in the comments. But yeah, that's like what I see right now. A lot of my friends kind of like, they cannot, I mean, they told me like, you're lucky. I mean, you find it, you're lucky right now. And most of them like, I still don't know what to do. I have a lot of few friends, they still like don't know what they do. I mean, they still like searching. They don't have a job. They just sitting around in the house just doing nothing. And it's kind of like sucks to see my friends like that, but I mean, yeah.
I think that's a problem all around the world.
Yeah.
I think that we also say a lot of things like do what makes you happy, or like follow your dreams, or follow like do what makes you happy. And a lot of people are like, I don't know what makes me happy, or I don't know what my dreams are, or like you just need a hobby. And it's like, well, what hobby am I gonna do, you know? And I certainly found myself there as well. And like you seem to have stumbled across something that you really enjoy with the languages, and that was kind of random, but I'm sure there were certain things that you did to take initiative there, right?
Right.
You were kind of curious a little bit. You were always kind of thinking about language, I assume. Is that correct? And you decided to take some action, or at least a couple steps in that direction. And especially when you had an opportunity to during COVID. I think that's the advice that I would give to anybody as well, because I was in that position as well, where I was just like, I did an engineering job, and I was kind of interested in engineering, but like that became my world, and I was bored and miserable because like I had nothing that I was interested in. I'm like, so you play like video games because they're kind of fun, or you do a few things that are kind of fun, or gives you short-term stimulation. I just remember feeling so lost, and it affected every aspect of me. I was unhappy. I felt like I had nothing interesting to talk about, or nothing interesting to say. But I got so kind of sick of that I was like, I'm going to find it, like whatever that is. So I kind of knew I was somewhat active, and I liked outdoors type things.
Good.
So I just kind of went to a climbing club, and I went to a kayaking. I bought a full-on kayak with my money that I wasn't spending on anything else. And I went kayaking, like whitewater kayaking, and pretty soon realized like that wasn't my thing, because you need a group of people often. It was like a solo thing, but once you go down the river, you somehow have to get back up, and you kind of need a few people with cars. And I just didn't click with that community, and I was like, oh man, I spent all this money on. And it's like, when am I going to find a thing? Because it's not this thing, it's not this thing, and it's not this thing. And it came about randomly, but I had my eyes open. I ended up getting involved in windsurfing because a colleague of mine was selling windsurfing gear. And I just saw it randomly online, and I just decided to buy it. It was like £50, which is not much at all. And I went to my hometown where I had seen them doing it. And turns out there was a windsurfing shop there. They were getting a good laugh out of the fact that I was trying to set up this gear that was from the 70s. Had no idea what I was doing. I was like flailing around in the water, and they kind of waved me in, and then they gave me a real beginner-friendly set. They were like, here's how you windsurf, here's where the wind comes from, here's some new equipment that's beginner-friendly, go have fun. Completely out of the blue. I didn't know these people, I didn't know that there was even a windsurfing shop there. But their kindness and I guess smart business acumen, they gave me this gear, and I went out and was like, it was for free. Like, they didn't try and sell me anything. And I was sailing back and forth, and it was like amazing. I'm like, this is nature. The wind is like propelling me across the water. I'm picking up speed. It was the coolest feeling. And then I got back to the beach, and I met a bunch of people that I had never met. Previously, I was working in a factory with a bunch of people that had like a really narrow mindset, in my opinion. Didn't travel, like they just literally lived for the weekends to go out and get drunk and watch the football. And that was it. And I just felt so out of place there. But back at the beach, I met other people that were windsurfing, and they built their lives around this sport. So they owned their own businesses, they did all these different things, and they work to live instead of living to work, you know. And it was like a whole different mentality. They would take time off to go. When the wind was good, they would go. And I just remember just thinking it was literally a breath of fresh air, because these people had a whole different, they were like really friendly, really cool, from all sorts of different places. And it was like a whole community, and it was the thing that resonated with me the most, because I was interested in culture and travel anyway. And all the elements kind of lined up, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. All I wanted to do was windsurf. And that morphed into kite surfing, which is a different, like evolution of windsurfing. And then that really changed my life because I just kept going down that path, ended up teaching, and then ended up meeting a lot of professional athletes, getting involved in photography and video work, and then became a photographer and videographer over time. But these things I couldn't have told you when I first started, when I was lost in that factory. I didn't know what I was about, that I would now have traveled the world and done all these cool things. You can't predict it, but I just was lost and I was searching for some things. Didn't have much success for a while, but found something and still didn't really know the direction. And it just took me on this incredible journey because I kind of was able to embrace being lost, and also fortunately had parents that were quite supportive of me pursuing other things, which helped me. But now, yeah, we're sat here and I've had some incredible experiences in my life that I
That's good.
could have never even predicted.
Yeah.
If I would have just accepted my fate to be working in that factory, in that career. It was a good enough career.
Yeah.
I was making pretty decent money. So I think some of these things aren't just, these things translate through all nations and cultures. Yeah, I can relate to some of even your friends in that sense.
Yeah.
Even though I grew up across the planet.
That's true. That's true. So I think like another question, but it's kind of like, can you feel lost again? So that's the thing.
Can you feel lost again? Yeah, for sure. I feel lost right now.
You feel lost right now?
I'm like pretty happy exploring and adventuring and meeting people. But yeah, I mean, even today I had a tricky day where I felt a little bit lonely. I felt a little bit lost because I don't know where I'm going to go next. Just had some moments of doubts where I wanted to take my YouTube channel, where I'm going to make my money next. All these things, I think sometimes you just feel low energy.
Yeah.
Maybe something sparked it, something triggered it.
Yeah.
And you can feel that weight. Yeah. And I kind of just spent my day saying, okay, I feel kind of down, even though we're in paradise. It's probably hard to believe that, and I have my health and all these things, but I just felt down.
Yeah.
And I decided to take the time, because obviously I recognize that this is a privilege as well, that I have the time just to say, I'm going to do nothing today.
Yeah.
I'm going to relax, I'm going to think, and I'm just going to try and just exist and understand that, like,
Yeah.
a solution will come, tomorrow will feel better.
Yeah.
I can take maybe 1 or 2 actions today to make things a little bit better. But yeah, I still feel lost even to this day, you know?
Yeah. I think also like the most important thing is like, let's say like when you're lost and then you found your thing, I would say like it's not getting easier, it's getting harder because when you found your thing, okay, shit, okay, this is what I want to do. Now, how do I make it? It's not getting easier, it's getting harder.
But I think being a bit lost is also you're talking about accepting that. Whereas a lot of people, I think, accept their fate of like, well, I'm destined to follow in my father's footsteps.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes that can be good as well, you know, because it gives you parameters.
Sure.
There are many things in in a lot of creatives will tell you what they really want is unlimited creativity. They'll tell you that they want unlimited creativity, but some of the best work that they ever create is whenever they have boundaries. Musicians, when they had to record on like 10 layers of tracks, that's all they had. They had to get real creative with how they make a rich sound with that, you know.
Yeah.
Now you have literally unlimited digital tracks that you can record different layers on everything, and that brings awesome things, but it also can create, when do you stop, you know, like it creates a little bit more confusion. And I think that can also translate to traveling and finding some, being like allowing yourself to be lost, because then you find something and then there are other things that branch off. It's like a tree.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. But do you think like traveling is like always, like with traveling, will you always find the answer?
No,
No.
I don't think you'll ever find the answer. I think you'll find a lot of answers to different things, but I don't think you'll find. I don't know. It depends on what the question, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're never. I don't think the answer being like, will you be fully content and everything makes sense in the world or whatever once you start traveling. I don't think that's possible. Maybe it's possible with religion. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
But I don't think I'm necessarily searching for the answer to everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also don't know if there's such thing as like unlimited happiness. Like,
Yeah.
we're human beings.
Yeah.
We have highs and we have lows.
Exactly.
Know? And I think that you can definitely tip the scales to like more happy times than sad times. But it's a fact of life, You're going to be feeling really great and someone's going to die.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's nature.
Nature.
It's like, what happens?
Yeah.
You're going to feel like shit.
Uh-huh.
And maybe something else might happen. You might
Yeah.
feel shit again. You're like, fuck.
Exactly.
But that's part of life.
That's
in
part
a
of
way.
life.
I think accepting that and understanding that is important as well.
Yeah. I think that's true. Like accepting it. Yeah.
So what are your goals then? Now that you have your channel and you have a bit of like you have some momentum, you start to have some goals and some things that you're achieving, a bit of a routine with what you're doing. What are the next steps? What do you want to do? Because
Yeah. It's kind of like right now, like one of the goals, like let's say like one of the dreams that I haven't reached yet is like live in South America, like nomad, like maybe like 6 months in Brazil, 6 months in Argentina, 6 months in Chile, something like that. That is like one of the things that I want to do the most. Let's say like I'm trying to reach that first at the moment. Let's say like the ultimate, that's pretty tough to us because
you never know where that's
we'll
going to be.
never know because I think like right now that's my ultimate. I want to reach that first.
Yeah.
After that, let's see. If I'm okay with Brazil, is it okay with Argentina or Chile? Is it good for me? Can I get a good opportunity there? Can I get a good job or maybe like more videos come out from there and everything? So yeah, we don't even know. But that's like my goal for the moment. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes on with everything else that we've just been saying, like you don't know what's going to come after that. You could feel like shit for not knowing. I could make you feel like shit. Well, what's going to happen after that time? Like, do you not have a plan?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe you could have like maybe a fallback plan and go home, but you never know, man. Like
Exactly.
you take that first step into that whole world, you might meet your future wife. You might be like, you know what? I'm just want to stay in Argentina. Or you find all these cultural things in Argentina that you want to just be like, I'm going to have my wife here and we're going to do all these cool things in Argentina and like forget about Brazil or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't really predict it. But once again, one of the beauties about not knowing is the fact that you open yourself up to all these different opportunities.
Exactly. That's
kind of exciting.
It's kind of exciting.
Scary, but exciting.
It's kind of like let universe surprise you, right? It's kind of like, okay, what's next?
And it does. I mean, it does surprise
does.
you. Think about the people that you meet and just the situations you get into whenever you just kind of just step out into the unknown. Some of the best things in your life will happen that way, or at least have in mind.
Exactly. Like this thing, me and Ryan, this is like really unpredicted. We just like we were in the hostel and just chatting about the things that we were working on. And then just like,
and you're like, oh,
shit,
I do YouTube
that's
things.
cool.
Like, no way, I'm trying to build my YouTube thing as well.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's kind of like, and also like the thing is like this is like off topic, but it's like always like before traveling, I always had that kind of fear, you know, like let's say like this early this year, I went traveling with my friends, well, and I was trying to like solo traveling. So we're going to Thailand. We were going to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Okay, so in Thailand and Cambodia, already have friends, but in Vietnam, I don't really have friends. Okay, I only knew one girl, and I don't think that she can accompany me like every single day because it's like in the weekdays in the moment. So it's kind of afraid like, what happened if I end up alone? What happened like if I feel lonely? What happens like, yeah, it's kind of like that kind of thing, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like it was really cool. I met a lot of people like out of nowhere. We just met up just like that. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And that's also happens like before I went to Bali, like this, like on, I think like Monday or Tuesday, I was like, shit, what happened if I don't meet someone? What happened is like, I just, for until Wednesday, until Sunday, I'm just being alone. What happened if that happens? But then at the end of the day, when I came to Bali, the first day, literally, I think it's like Wednesday, I was like working out here, and I met Ryan. It's just chatting. It's just out of nowhere. So it's kind of like, also the thing is like, don't really worry if you want to travel, solo traveling, because the name is solo traveling, but you're not alone at all.
No.
You're not alone at all.
And I think those thoughts, I think it's really important to share those thoughts because there are a lot of people that feel that, and that fear alone stops them.
Exactly.
And imagine you have that fear in yourself, and then you have other people saying, "Oh, don't go to that country because that I hear that you can get malaria, or I hear this, that, or the other." You know, they have a million reasons, or the planes are unsafe, or something like that. You combine those two thoughts, it puts so many people off that might really have wanted to do it, and they're like, you know what, like, I'm not going to do it. So it's important to share that, because that could be enough to put someone off, and
it is.
90% of the time you end up the surprise with the cool stuff that can happen, and how people and different things can change the course of everything.
Exactly.
Right, like business connections, friendships, whatever,
everything. And I said this because I'm like a really beginner, like solo traveling. I only like, let's say like, I only did solo traveling like, this would be like the third time I tries, but because I'm with my friend too, so it's not like really that solo traveling. But I say like really solo traveling is kind of like 2 times. So I'm like a really beginner in this. So it's kind of like that kind of feelings. Maybe you will get it if you want to try like solo traveling, but don't let it stop you. The thing that I can give you advice, kind of like, if it starts to giving you fear, something like that, just buy the plane ticket. So it gives you like, oh shit, I already bought it. I don't want to like let this go to waste. So yeah, just buy it.
Force yourself
like
into it.
Yeah. And also like this thing, like in the next year, I'm going to Brazil. Before anyone starts to mind fuck me, like, no, Brazil is dangerous. There are a lot of like, you will get robbed, you will get killed, you will get blah blah blah. I immediately buy it. I just bought it, and when people like start talking to me, I already bought it. I don't have any other choice. I don't want to like $1,000 just go like that. No, I already bought it. I don't care. I already bought it. I'm going, yes or yes.
Your path is sealed. At least the first step is you're getting on that plane.
Exactly. I already like sealed it. Okay, I'm going. So even though, so I want like that first kind of like stop me. I mean, some people told me like, no, Brazil is like dangerous. Haven't you seen the news? This happens in Brazil. Blah blah blah. The mafia.
Yeah, but it's
the gunshots, everything.
It's one of the biggest countries in the world.
Exactly.
So, and people, however many millions of people live there,
a lot,
and are fine every day.
So yeah, and also like, media. I mean, all of that like media. You know how media works. bad news are good news.
Yeah.
That's how the media works.
But the good thing is that once you start doing these types of trips and you start exploring, you end up seeing for yourself what the reality.
Exactly.
And then that can reassure your next trip, right? So you go to Brazil, you're like, okay, maybe you'll see elements of danger and you're a little bit savvy to it because you don't want to walk into anything blind. But you'll realize that like a lot of, you can make your own decisions, and that will say next time you want to go to a different place, you'll be like, well, people are saying this place sucks, but the last place was great. So you can use that knowledge that you gained from your previous trip to encourage you to move forward, and you just get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Exactly, that's true. Also, a lot of people told me like that kind of dangerous, but also a lot of people told me like you will have the best time in your life. So it's kind of like, okay, there's like a balance out of it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, just do it, man.
You got to go with your gut.
Yeah, you have to go with your gut. I mean,
if the side of you is stronger, saying I want to do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Don't stop.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I think we've been chatting for like
an hour already.
An hour or so, and I think it's super interesting.
Yeah.
The story is not written yet, for sure. It's really interesting how you have built your life to this point and are enjoying it. And the future is really exciting as well.
Yeah.
All the different directions you're going to go, the places you're going to go, the people you're going to talk to, the languages you're going to learn, and the people that you're also going to inspire by doing your videos. You know, you watch your videos, you get a smile on your face, you're laughing, you end up feeling really good, and also being like, man, I want to learn some of these languages.
Yeah.
You know? So it's so many good forces and good vibes all built into what you're doing, and also coming from a situation that is extremely positive as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful to be chatting with you and to have met you, and
me too,
also to follow the journey along. And I for sure know we'll probably meet up somewhere in the world as well.
Sure. I'm sure like we will meet up again.
Maybe I'll have a second language.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to use some of your techniques.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for this convo, man.
Thanks,
really
dude.
appreciate it.
Me
Yes,
too.
brother.
Brother. Hermanos.
And if you want to see, well, you're going to have to see some of the videos that Sonny creates, because they're going to absolutely make your day. They're really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
You can check out his videos in the description below his channel. I'll also add it to the end of this podcast, like I did my previous one as well. You'll be able to click on his face here or here at the end of the video. And thanks for watching this second episode of this podcast. Hopefully we're going to create more. I'm sure we'll run into many more interesting people as well along the way. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'll see you guys. It's okay to be lost.
It is okay to be lost.
Yeah.
Awesome.